Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay Kwan here, and welcome back to another locals game. Got myself playing the Emerald Amethyst versus Emerald or Amethyst Steel Aggro. So we got new cards from Reina Jafar, and super excited to use the new Pull the Lever and Wrong Lever and the new Cusco Shift in this deck here, alongside with our go-to Diablo package and Prince John discard package. So we got an amalgamation of just really good cards in the Emerald Amethyst deck that I'm hoping to showcase here to you today, and hoping to really get some reps with this deck and maybe play for set champs coming up. And with set champs being announced, late July to early August, it does look like we will have a shorter season for this time around. Right before the next sets, fabled with the rotation coming around the corner as well. So super excited for that. Again, can't wait for the rotation just because, like, as you can see, there's a lot of very diverse decks in this meta, right? Essentially any deck can really make it to the top. But we're really only seeing a very minor change compared to the last set, right? So generally only you're seeing about 1 to 3, maybe 4 cards being added on into some decks, but not so much of like changing a whole entire core when it comes to like different color pairings and having like new stuff being able to top, right? So in this particular matchup here, again, we're going to pretend like we don't know what the opponent is playing. So we are going to go for the blind mulligan, meaning that we are going to search for the Diablo 1 drop, maybe a Diablo 2 drop, and of course the Diablo shift. Going on the draw, it is very useful to see what the opponent has, just because again, we will be able to find out whether or not we're going to be prone to getting pinged with some of the steel songs, right? So Let the Storm Rage On and Strength of a Raging Fire. And I believe this particular deck does play Fire the Cannons. So Fire the Cannons is a very, very cheap out to those Diablo decks, just because, again, like it does 2 damage for 1 cost, right? It does look like he is going to go super aggro, playing double Chernobog on turn 2. So we got 3 characters that we're going to need to take out here. So we are going to be able to shift in that Diablo. So again, like, love to see it. That's kind of the play line that we are always going to want to see, especially during a blind matchup there. So shifting in the Diablo will allow us to challenge in to the Maleficent while taking it out and also drawing us a card next turn. We do also play the Diablo 2 drop, which is a new card from the last set as well. And the Diablo 2 drop is a very, very versatile card. It does have Challenger 2, making it a 3 strength character, and it also does have evasive as well, alongside being a Diablo shift target. Okay, so he does look like he's going to quest for 1, drawing a card. Because he draws a card, we're also going to draw another card from Diablo. And in this case here, it's always better to, again, like, quest 1 at a time, pop the Chernobyls 1 at a time. You don't generally want to, allow myself to draw a card from Diablo, but again, he's looking for those outs, right? So that's why you're doing it 1 at a time. And it's very proper for you to do that rather than just questing in with everything and then triggering everything, right? Okay, so he does drop another Chernobog and a Smee. Turn 3, I wouldn't mind seeing like a Prince John being played here, just looking like he doesn't have, too much cards in his hand, and we do also have to be wary of the dock being played, because once he gets to that point, he can just ink, play a character, play a dock, discard the rest of the cards if there is any, and then draw 2. So we are going to see the new card Pull the Lever here. It's a very versatile card because it gives you one of 2 effects that you can use. The first effect, we are going to choose to just draw 2 cards, so it is a Friends on the other side. The second effect that you can choose is just to discard a card from the opponent's hand. So it has Sudden Chill and Friends on the other side built in. The only downside, of course, is that it is locked to these color pairings, and then of course it's not a song, so you do have to hard cast it. But because, again, we're not too scared about the board state just yet. I don't mind, you know, taking that turn off to get that pull the lever into the discard, because it does set us up for wrong lever, which you will see here later in this game. And he does put the Pete upside down just to kind of remind us there again that the Pete is in effect, so no actions are allowed during my turn, right? So I can't sudden chill, friends on the other side, pull the lever, wrong lever, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be paying 1 to play Diablo first, just to take a look to see what's in his hand. The reason why I do this instead of inking first is just because if, let's just say he does have a song and I have Ursula in my hand, then I can play the Ursula. If he doesn't have a song, then I'm going to ink the Ursula, right? So again, like just making sure that you're doing sequencing as optimal as possible, right? Sometimes it's better to draw first if you can before inking, and then that way you have more options to ink. And in this case, it's good to play Diablo first before inking, so that way I have a better idea of what to keep in my hand and what to ink, right? Okay, so I do play another Diablo. We are hard casting this Diablo shift, so we won't get the draw from it next turn. I do a 1-for-1 trade, trading the 2-drop Diablo into the Smee. And again, it has that Challenger too, so it is able to take out that Smee no problem. And we just want to simplify his board state because again, like we are playing against an aggro deck, so we just want to be able to challenge into his characters, slow him down. You know, eventually he's going to run out of resources if he doesn't draw any docks, while our Diablos are just going to sit there, recurring us more and more card advantage, right? So we don't really care too much about gaining lore at the beginning of the game. We just want to be able to, you know, essentially play an attrition match with ourselves and being able to accumulate as much resources as possible, and then that's when we can go wide, right? Because again, in these colors against Amethyst Steel, they don't have any board wipes, so we don't have to be worried about, you know, B preps. And obviously, like, because he's aggro, we don't have to worry about Monstro being dropped on us. And even then, we do play a lot of evasive, so Monstro wouldn't even be able to, you know, take out our Diablos anyways. So he does play a library, and then putting a Diablo into the library, meaning that if the Diablo does get banished on either of our turns, he will draw 1 card from Diablo and one draw from the library as well. It does look like he hard cast the last card in his hand, which is a Maleficent. So as of right now, the opponent is on top deck mode. And because of that, we do ink the Ursula. We haven't seen any songs yet, so again, if he did top deck a song, he's probably going to play it right away, taking out one of the Diablos, so we have no use for that Ursula 2-drop. And again, like, Ursula 2-drop just becomes one of those like tech cards that are not going to be like very good in every single matchup, but it's very crucial in specific matchups, right? Like taking out B preps, taking out storms and strength after like the opponent whole new worlds. You could also take out a whole new world as well, right? So in this particular matchup, Ursula is just not needed, so that's why we're inking it there. We are playing the Madam Mim Fox, which is a really great card to play in this case because he does have a location on board. And we will be able to take it out with exactly 8 strength in total, right? 2 from each Diablo there, and then 4 from the Madam Mim Fox. And then I play another Diablo 2-drop, and keep in mind, with that Challenger 2, it will be able to take out that Pete next turn, allowing, you know, whoever else to take out the Maleficent, and then, you know, again, we're just going to be able to keep controlling the board. So it is an uphill battle right now for this aggro player. Okay, so he plays the Fire the Cannons, taking out the Diablo. And probably the best card that he could use right now, because again, even if he does have Storm Rage on and takes out one of my Diablos, because how the effects work on the Diablo will actually still draw once the Storm resolves. Meaning that he'll draw 1 card, and then we'll draw 2 cards. Okay, so he plays a dock, refilling his hand. And he's forced to do this, even though we do have Diablo on board. That's why we were able to draw 2 more cards, but he did manage to get another Fire the Cannons. You know, 1 card too late, unfortunately. And he's going to play the Diablo there, and then trading in the Pete into my Fox, leaving us with 1 card left, which is a Diablo. However, if you see our hand right now, it's kind of crazy. We have like 10 cards or something. So we have so many options right now, whereas the opponent does not have any cards in hand, and he only has 3 cards on the board. So we got a lot of cards here, a lot of decisions. Let's see what we do. So we ink a Diablo. Obviously that has no use right now, right? And okay, so we have Bruno. Are we using the Bruno? No, we're actually shifting. Okay, so we're shifting by discarding the Bruno. The Diablo will be able to take out that Maleficent as well. And we're playing Pull the Lever, using it for the draw effect, drawing us 2 cards. And playing Wrong Lever. So Wrong Lever, essentially, if you do have Pull the Lever in your discard, you can return it back to the bottom of your deck, and then you can put 1 character from your opponent's side onto their bottom of the deck. So it's a very good card. It's a lot better than Bruno too, because again, it just takes out the threat right away. You don't have to worry about being bounced back to hand and maybe discarding it, right? So I personally really like the Pull the Lever, Wrong Lever combo. It just adds extra removal as well to the deck, because usually Emerald Amethyst, we don't have, you know, too many crazy outs for anything, and I think it's just a really cool card, especially Pull the Lever, because it's so versatile with 2 effects that you can choose from, right? Okay, so we're playing double Cusco and a Diablo, and then playing another Diablo, so we're just flooding the board here with birds. Luckily for us, the Cuscos, the Diablos are all very cheap characters, so this is the pivotal point in time where we are just going wide. And again, even if the opponent is on 14 lore and we're only at 3, it only takes us 1 or 2 turns to really get back over 10 lore, right? And I also did shift in that Diablo last turn, and the reason being is because if he does top deck a dock, we will be able to benefit from that, right? Essentially drawing us 3 whole entire cards on the opponent's turn. So it looks like he top decked the Madam Mim Snake, bouncing back the Maleficent, and he's probably going to replay it. Meaning that he's only going to be able to have about 17 lore in total. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lore right now. But again, we have plenty of cards in our hand. So we're playing the Prince John. Opponent does have 1 card in hand, so we could sudden chill. We don't talk about Bruno. Yep, so we do the sudden chill, taking the last card in his hand. I believe that's a Diablo. And then playing the We Don't Talk About Bruno, because he doesn't have any cards in his hand, the Bruno will just straight up discard the card because it's the only card. And then we're just going to quest out for everything here. And we're questing out for 7. Drawing us a card from Diablo. He's going to top deck a library, but I think at this point he's pretty much cooked. He's going to quest out for 1, taking him to 15. Okay, sweet. So we're going to shift in the new Cusco here. So it's a 5/5, and essentially what it does is that if you shift to play him, he's going to be able to put 1 character from the opponent's board onto the bottom of the deck, and then allowing him to draw a card. And keep in mind, he may draw a card. So he doesn't have to if he's scared that he's going to get discarded. And again, this is what exactly happens, right? So you drew a card, and then we just play another Sudden Chill, and then we're gonna draw another card with Prince John. So we're just kind of steamrolling here. Okay, so we're spending 5 playing an Ana. Ana is also a very versatile card because we can choose to discard the opponent, gain us 2 strength, or banish a damage character. So we are giving 2 additional strength to the Diablo. Now Diablo is going to be able to challenge in for 5. Therefore, we are going to be able to take it out with Cusco and another Diablo, or Prince John, taking out the library and then questing in with everything else. And there's really not too much else that you can top deck in this situation here, so yeah. Plays the Pete, and he just scoops. Because we're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, we pretty much have game on board. So there you have it. For the first game there, we were able to set up the Diablo very nicely, even though we were on the draw. And then slowly discard our opponent, control their board. And I really like Pull the Lever, because Pull the Lever drew us like 4 cards on top of what the Diablo draws. It's pretty insane, because if you can see, like with our hand, like for the whole entire game, we had a very, very fresh set of cards turn after turn, right? So yeah, like Pull the Lever is quite slow, because again, it's an action, not a song, so you do have to hard cast it. But in scenarios where, let's just say you're in a stalemate, your opponent's not questing or challenging, you're not questing or challenging, you know, playing Pull the Lever, drawing you know, 2 cards, or even discarding them if you have Prince John, is just very, very nice. On top of that, keep in mind that because it isn't a song, it's not going to be able to get ripped out by like another, you know, posing Ursula Deceiver, right? So it does get over Ursula Deceiver. And because we were on the draw, we are going to be on the play now. So that does give us a huge, huge advantage. Especially in a, you know, a 2-game format where you really have to get that 2-0 to have a higher score, right? Because generally in a 2-game format, you get 3 points for every win, and if you get a 2-0, you get 7 points. But yeah, let me know, you know, what you guys think about the new cards being added into the Amethyst Emerald. I know in many of the lists here that did top over the last few weekends, you didn't see too much in terms of like the Cusco package, and I really felt like, you know, the deck was missing a bigger boss monster. Previously, we did have the Ursula Shift, which was like a huge, you know, 7-drop. But I also felt like it didn't really do too much, whereas at least in terms of like the Cusco Shift, it is a single target removal, and a 5/5 body is quite big too. And because we're already playing so many cards like, you know, Diablo and the small Cusco, like there's so many cards that just recur us advantage, right? And that was kind of the whole point of the deck, is never lose advantage, because you lose a lot of advantage from discarding and shifting into the Diablo, and having Diablo being like, you know, pinged off the next turn, right? So having like a lot of these cards that replace themselves really help you stabilize and get back into the game. Okay, so looks like we started off with a Diablo into a Cusco into his Maleficent. See what he's thinking about inking here. Inking the Smee. Playing a Chernobog and a Maleficent. So again, starting off with 2 1-drops on turn 2 is a very, very strong opener. But because he did have to think very hard about what he wanted to ink, tells me that he does have a lot of uninkables in his hands. Could be like Storm Rage on, it could be Calhoun, it could even be multiple docks as well, right? So again, like these are some of the things that you can take into account when you are playing your own game in your league or set champs, is that looking at kind of what the opponent's doing and thinking, how long they're thinking on doing something, really can give away a lot of hints about what their game plan is and what exactly is in their hand, right? So again, because we also have the Cusco and Diablo, we're not too threatened with his board. That's why again we are playing pull the lever and setting us up for wrong lever on the following turns here. And as you can see in my hand, I have another pull the lever and also a wrong lever. So that's the reason why I chose to do it there. Because Chernobog and Maleficent are quite weak characters, so it is easy to take out. And of course, as you can see here, the Chernobogs quested and essentially banished themselves. So again, he is gaining card draw, but he's also losing tempo on the board, right? And especially like in this matchup here, going wide is going to be a better strategy because again, we don't have any board wipes ourselves, right? But that's why I play cards like Wrong Lever and Cusco Shift to be able to take care of those threats one by one. And then also letting my other characters, challenge in, right, to some of his other smaller characters, like with our Diablo 2 drops, and we do play Creakies and other characters like Elsa, right? So we're just slowly taking his characters out one by one. And as you can see here, we're shifting into the Cusco again. And we're gonna pick one character to spin down to the bottom of the deck, and I believe the choice here is probably the Snake, just because it does have the bigger stats. I don't really care too much about the Maleficent questing for 2 right now, just because he's not over 10 lore, so I'm not super scared. And then I'm going to be playing We Don't Talk About Bruno. So in this case here, I did notice that we both forgot that the Cusco Shift does allow the opponent to draw a card. I'm not too sure if maybe he intentionally didn't draw, because if he didn't, that also tells me that he could just want to play Dock. So that could be it too. Keep that in mind. But yeah, Cusco, being the fact that it's a 7-drop, can easily sing We Don't Talk About Bruno, and I really love that about Cusco, right? You can shift in, take out a card, and then sing We Don't Talk About Bruno, take out another card. So I was correct. He did have the dock in his hand, right? So again, this is probably why he took a little bit to think about what to ink, because of so many uninkables in his hand. And probably the reason why he didn't draw with the Cusco Shift is because he wants to discard his card, right? He doesn't want to draw a really good card and then having to discard it anyways. And Pull the Lever was able to draw us another 2 cards, right? So as you can see, like turn after turn, we're taking out 1 or 2 of his cards, we're drawing 1 or 2 cards, right? And that's kind of like how the whole deck functions, and kind of what I wanted to showcase here in these games with the new cards. And I would say in this case here, we prioritize the takeouts as much of his bigger willpower characters, right? Anything that has 3 willpower or more is what we're probably going to choose to take out with Cusco, Elsa, and some of the other removal that we play as well, like Bruno. Okay, so we play Hypnotize. So Hypnotize, again, like the whole deck is a little bit slower, but it's very, very controlly, right? We are able to play a very nice mid-range control game, and being able to just slowly chip away at his cards and slowly gain resources ourselves. Okay, so we're inking the Diablo and playing 3 for Wrong Lever. Okay, so Wrong Lever, again, he's going to send back one of our Pull the Levers to the bottom of the deck, and then choosing one of his characters to send back. and we're sending back a dock. And again, the reason for this is because of the high willpower, right? Maleficent is super easy to take out. But also, if we did leave dock out on the board, he could potentially bounce it back with like a snake or fox and then replay it, right? Plays double fire the cannons onto the Cusco ship, taking it out immediately. And it looks like he top decked another dock. And we still have a decent amount of cards. We have 4 cards in our hand right now. So we do play Ursula, just taking a look to see what he has in his hand. He has another Fire the Cannons. So that was 3 Fire the Cannons and a Maleficent and 2 docks. So yeah, it does look like we were correct. The whole entire time he was very, very short on ink and didn't have anything to ink, and all his characters were just like uninkable. So that's the downside about playing, you know, a lot of lower to the ground stuff. A lot of like the very aggro cards, they're just super uninkable and not the most consistent sometimes. Okay, and we're playing another wrong lever, taking out that dock and being able to quest for free with that Diablo, not being scared of the dock being able to challenge it next turn. So I believe we have 2 cards left in our hand here. He plays Let the Storm Rage on, drawing him a card and putting 2 damage on an Ursula. And again, what he's doing, he's just digging here, right? He doesn't want to give us a card by taking out the Diablo. Playing another Maleficent, okay. Wonder how many copies of Maleficent we've seen so far. He must play like a full playset of Maleficent. Maleficent's a really cool card. It's you know, it's a first chapter card. Can't really get it anymore because it's super scarce, but it's like a $5 rare. Play We Don't Talk About Bruno, taking it out, and let's see what we discard here. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 being the middle. Taking out the Fire the Cannons. And playing Sudden Chill, okay. Because he only has 2 cards left in his hand, like I don't mind playing the Sudden Chill, just to, you know, again, dwindle down his resources. Because he is still lower to the ground as a deck, he could potentially just drop out his whole hand, right? So it's fine. Like we don't need to always have Prince John on the board to play our discard cards. In this case, it was perfectly fine. So it looks like he inks the snake and playing the goat. Now the reason why he inks the snake here is, again, we are playing discard, so he does know this, and he will be able to, you know, see that, hey, like if he keeps a card in his hand, he could potentially just, you know, again, like have that card discarded and have us like gain advantage if we have Prince John, right? So all small things to like keep in mind while playing against these type of decks. Okay, so he plays out a Smee and a Library. And oh, that's perfect. So we top deck a Creaky. Creaky is going to give every single character that we have +3 strength. So that Cusco, being 5 strength originally, is going to go up to 8, taking out that library in 1 shot and then allowing us to quest to 13. And keep in mind, this Creaky does quest for 3, so it's a huge quester here. But it looks of it, I think this is it. There's really not too much else he can do at this point in time as well. So he takes out the Ursula, plays another Smee, and we're at 1, 2, 3, we're at 6 taking us to 19. Yeah, it's super hard for him to come back here. Yep, playing the Bruno. Bruno takes it out and questing with everything. Taking out the Smee just to kind of, you know, ensure our victory here. let's see what he top decks. Nope, that's a library. Well, there you have it, guys. Another super awesome fun matchup here. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.